Hi, this is Josh, also known as Cpgeek, and in this video I'm going to be unboxing and giving you some of my first impressions of the HiFiMan HE560 version 4. So I've been using the Sony MDR V6 headphones here for a large number of years. They're great headphones for monitoring and audio production, but they're maybe not the best headphones for doing musical listening as far as just general enjoyment. So I decided that I was going to buy up a few different sets of hi-fi / mid-fi headphones and give them a shot and hopefully share my experiences with folks here. Basically go ahead and resell those that don't work out for me and keep the ones that do. So here I am, and I just got in my set of HiFiMan HE560 version 4s. So last week I went ahead and made a video of me trying out the HE5XXs from Drop, the sort of little brother of the headphone we're talking about today. Please go ahead and check out the link in the description for that video. I went ahead and unboxed them and gave my initial thoughts on those, just as I am going to do here. Let's go ahead and get to it. So first off, the biggest reason that I decided to take a look at the HiFiMan HE560 version 4 is basically I found them on sale at Adorama, who is a seller of music equipment and instruments and microphones and cameras and all kinds of other electronic stuff. So I discovered these headphones were on sale at Adorama. At that time, they were going for $269. Just to move on over to the desktop here to have you take a look. They were selling for $269. And going ahead and taking a look at the product page, they typically retail for $899, which is a pretty gigantic discrepancy. So I wanted to pick these up and figure out exactly what $900 headphones actually sound like. So here we are, the HiFiMan HE560 V4 Premium Planar Magnetic Headphones. They come in this really nice aluminum finish here, and some of these parts that are normally plastic on something like the 4XX and 5XX look like they're done in aluminum here. Looks like we got a nice headband. I'm definitely going to go over the hardware as soon as I get into the box here today. Just looking at cable ends and that kind of thing. It looks like it's pretty standard stuff. So we'll go ahead and take a look at that in just a few moments. Just scrolling down here, the HiFiMan HE560 version 4, which I'm going to henceforth call the 560, just for disambiguation's sake, because that's a big mouthful. So scrolling on down here, looks like it's planar magnetic headphone technology, very similar to the 5XX that we talked about last week. Looks like it's a little bit lighter. And hopefully for the price sounds a lot better, but we shall definitely see. I'll definitely give you my thoughts and opinions on this after I've broken it out and give it a listen, and we'll figure out exactly what this $900 headphone gets you. I did look this up on Amazon after the fact, just to get a feel for any additional discounts or anything that you might be able to get. Looks like they're selling on Amazon for $889, at least from this particular seller. There's one left in stock here. Who knows if they'll have additional stock. And this one is the wood grain finish version of the HE560 V4. I kind of like the wood grain a little bit better, honestly, than the aluminum, just because it's a little bit more natural looking. Just to give a AB here. So I like the more natural looking wood grain, but for the price, I can't argue with the $269 that this is costing me. So So I can't really argue with that. However, last week when I went ahead and unboxed the 5XXs, I realized that these planar magnetic headphones are pretty difficult to drive. So that basically leads me to finding some kind of an amplifier. I did end up getting this little Meizu dongle DAC. I'll go ahead and get some B-roll footage of that in just a few moments. It's really, really tiny, and that allows me to plug these harder running headphones into a USB-C port. So that will be incredibly handy for portable listening. I can plug this into the bottom of my phone and get it a headphone jack again. I don't know why phones don't come with headphone jacks these days. I would hope that there should be some sort of a really good DAC and amp in every phone these days, but alas, it seems that telephone manufacturers are basically forcing us to go with really, really crappy Bluetooth headphones. Bluetooth is a pretty terrible technology, at least in my experience, in terms of both sound quality that kind of thing. It's a pretty bad experience. So headphone jack, great stuff. So I found that this did raise the power a little bit. There's a little bit better of an amplifier here than I had been previously using, and it's quite a bit cleaner than the receiver that I had been using previously for music listening. So that's pretty good. But fortunately, it doesn't quite have the power that I would like to drive some of these harder headphones. So I've been looking around and eyeing the traditional Shit stack. Shit is a audio company who is known for making really high quality headphone, phono, DAC amp, headphone amp equipment, and a lot of people really, really like the Shit Magni and Modi. The Magni being the amplifier, so you can plug pretty much any headphones in there. It's a really powerful headphone amp, drive pretty much any headphones under the sun. And the Modi is the DAC, which takes in USB and does really, really high quality interpretation of audio signals. And outputs that as a very high quality analog signal, which then gets amplified by the headphone amplifier. This stack is generally about $200, and I've been eyeing it closely, looking for sales and looking for used deals and that kind of thing. However, I happened across this really good deal for the Mayflower Objective 2 Plus ODAC, which is a all-in-one combination DAC headphone amplifier, which has some renown. This came out a number of years ago and is a used item that I found on eBay for about half, maybe a little bit less of half its normal going price. It's not quite as good as the Shit stack, as it's so lovingly referred to. But it should power pretty much anything that I'm going to be getting here. So hopefully when that comes in, I should have a little bit better opinion of what's going on with the 5XX and the 560. So please stay tuned for additional reviews and information about that. So go ahead and get subscribed, and I'll have some additional information on that as soon as it comes in, as well as some additional thoughts about both the 5XX and the HE560. So just so we're on the same page, I did pay for all of this with all of my own money. No one has sent me any of this equipment. This is all my own deal, and all of these thoughts and opinions are my own. If you would like to go ahead and contribute to this channel, please feel free to click on any of those affiliate links, or go ahead and click the tip link. Any amount would certainly be appreciated, and I thank you for it. It'll go a long way to funding my additional projects, and I definitely appreciate it. So moving on to the unboxing portion, let's go ahead and just get that set up. All right, so let's go ahead and crack into this here. Just get a standard unboxing knife. Okay. What do we got here? Autorama invoice, some Autorama branded air, New Jersey air, don't breathe this. Set that aside. And a box in a box, directly from HiFiMan. All right, so let's go ahead and put this out, set this box aside. Out of the way. So here we have a box. And that box says, "Attention recipient, please check the contents of this carton upon receipt. If you sign and accept the package and later discover that the contents are wrong or missing, we cannot be responsible." Looks like we've got Chinese pass here from, looks like 2019. Can't be sure. Of course, I also don't read Chinese, Taiwanese. I'm sorry, I don't know really any Asian characters at all. So maybe somebody can help me out with that in the comments. On this side here, it says HE560. So I'd actually expected retail packaging, hoping to find some of that within maybe. Let's go ahead and carefully open this up and see what's what. Always put your finger under there in order to not scrape up the box that's underneath. All right, so quality seal, let's go ahead and break through that. And we have our box in a box has yet another box. This is actually packed very nicely. So we've got a layer of foam, and the whole thing is wrapped in a layer of bubble wrap. There's foam all the way around. Looks like maybe a 1/4 inch or so, maybe a little bit less than that on each side, but more than enough to keep it padded. And we can finally start to see that our headphones are right in there. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull out the retail box here and put this foam back together just in case. Shouldn't need it, but you never know. And I'll go ahead and set this aside. Now that we've got that on the table, let's go ahead and, just some packing tape holding this together. Okay. Back into this, pull this out, and we get our box. So we get Autorama exclusive HE560 headphone, innovating the art of listening, HiFiMan here. And let's go ahead and it says HE560 on the bottom. On the side, we get a HiFiMan logo. The other side, we get the same HiFiMan logo. And on either side, HE560 headphone. On the back, we've got some specifications here. See if I can get that less reflective for you. All right, so we've got frequency response, which is 15 hertz to 50 kilohertz, which is incredibly wide. It's usually 20 to 20 for human hearing, so the bass response on these should be really good. Efficiency, 90 decibels, which is not incredibly efficient, which is why I was talking about that headphone amplifier a few minutes ago. Let's see, weight 13.4 ounces. That should be pretty darn light. And contact information for HiFiMan, as well as their Twitter, Facebook, and website down below. So I have seen the HE560s in previous iteration in other reviews with a really nice wooden box with a sliding metal panel. That would have been really, really cool to see, particularly for the normal $900 price that these go for. So I'm kind of curious about all that. Further, I haven't seen any indications so far, at least on the retail box, that this is the 4th version. which it does say on the website. I'm not super worried, but that is a little confusing, as the differences between the various versions of this headphone are pretty different. Let's go ahead and pop this open finally. All right, so on the inside we get the HiFiMan limited warranty card, their Facebook and contact information once again, so that's cool. Set that aside. More foam, set that aside, and a really nice velour presentation here. Hold that up a little bit. So that's actually really nice looking. The material, I think, might actually be plastic, but that's okay. They still look pretty decent. And as far as that goes, plastic would be an incredible weight reduction over metal, come to think of it. So let's go ahead and get these out. I wish we got that really cool box that I was talking about before, but that's not in this case. Looking at the headphone cable, this is very different from the headphone cable that came with the HE560. Let me just go ahead and pull that out to compare. It's attached to my headphone right now. I'm bringing that whole thing on over. So switching to main camera here. So these are the 5XXs that I had on my desk from before. And this has a rubber cable that's incredibly short, as I described in my previous video of these headphones. But just recapping, I don't have any problems with this particular cable. Some people think it's terrible in terms of reviews. I've been using it for almost a week, and I haven't really had any problems with it other than it's incredibly short. Going back to the unboxing here, though, the cable that the HE560s come with is a very different animal altogether. It's a braided cable. It has a very nice section here where the cable breaks off into its two sections that plug into the headphones versus the main cable in the headphone. I'm going to go ahead and just undo this now and get a feel for general length. Probably could have looked that up on the website before they got here, but we'll see in a couple of seconds here. All right, so this is about the same amount of length that I got on the 5XXs, but it is a much nicer braided cable. Comes with a 1/8 to 1/4 inch adapter, which the other one did too. So it was good to see. But if you're going to terminate in an 1/8 inch, might as well come with a 1/4 inch adapter for plugging it into a headphone amp or those sorts of things. And these are just 2.5 millimeter cables, or 2.5 millimeter connectors that go to each ear cup, and they're labeled very well left and right. You can see that there if it'll focus. Actually, let's bring that back over to here. So they're labeled very clearly left and right, which is good to see. The construction of these is a little bit more durable feeling than the rubber ends on the 5XXs. You get a strain relief at the end on the 560 cable, which is good to see. Overall, this is a much better constructed cable, but as I said before, I would very much like to see this much longer. A 10-foot cable is going to be pretty good for listening with either a receiver or a big headphone amplifier from like across the room. I have a small room here, but my receiver is about maybe 3 to 4 feet away. I bet a lot of people would be listening on their couch and their audio setup being across the room on their TV or hi-fi setup. So having a longer cable would definitely be helpful for the future. I myself will probably be using a headphone extension cable along with this cable in order to get the headphones going here. So just setting that down for a moment. So let's go ahead and finally dig out the headphones themselves. All right, so this feel is very, very similar to the 5XXs that I've been using for the past little while. This is, I think, a little bit more velour pad. Yeah, definitely more of a velour pad. I'm just feeling the pad on the 5XXs on the other side here. It's a little bit more squishy as well. I think this may be slightly more comfortable, which is insane because one of the first thoughts that I had about the 5XXs when I first put them on was that there was negligible clamp force and that they're extremely comfortable for long-term listening. In fact, let's come back over to here and just go ahead and put these on my head. I can't really tell which one is so they are labeled left and right on the inside of the section here. You can see it there, the little L and R here. But bringing it back onto my head, let's go ahead and try these on. Go ahead and extend them just a bit. See how the extension works. The extension piece seems to work identically to the 5XXs, only instead of having a leather, full leather, at least looking headband, they decided to go with a more modern padding type of headband here. Let's go ahead and set these on my noggin. The clamp force is a little bit stronger than that of the 5XXs, but those velour pads are very nice as well. I don't experience any sort of discomfort. I believe that I can leave these on here for a very long time. However, interestingly enough, this does feel like it blocks out more of the ambient room. Just going to go ahead and try the 5XXs for comparison again. The 5XXs are incredibly open. So, yeah, putting these on my head, I hear a lot more of the room. These aren't plugged in right now to anything, but just listening to my voice and the fans from my computer and the ceiling fan in my room, I hear all of these noises that are currently going on. Whereas placing the HE560s on my head, the padding feels like it mutes a lot more of the ambient noise. These are still open-backed headphones, and I'm sure that they're going to leak quite a bit of audio into the room, and more than likely have very good soundstage. I don't hear quite as much of the outside. It also kind of deadens the noises that are in the room a little bit more. I would think that there's some sort of padding on the inside of these drivers that's a little bit more than what's found on the 5XXs. Taking these off here, let's go ahead and attach the cable that it comes with. Just come on over here. And this one's the left one, so plug left into the bottom here. And making sure to not tangle the cables. Set these down for a moment back on the box. So I like these braided cables. They tend not to snag nearly as badly as the rubberized ones. I did comment in the other video when I first unboxed the 5XXs that I believe that the rubber may catch on itself and rub. I haven't experienced any of that, so that hasn't been an issue. But these are braided cables, and they just basically slide right against one another, just very, very easily. So again, I'm going to go ahead and pop these on my head, and as far as looks go, the ring is a little shinier than these, which are the 5XXs, just to directly compare. As far as the headband goes, just getting that in the frame here, This is a wider headband, which definitely sits on more of your head than this one. But this also features quite a bit of additional padding I can feel under there. This is padded as well, just not quite as much, and they rely more upon the leather to get that job done. Further, the adjustment mechanism for the 5XXs sticks out the top, and these are plastic pieces. So in the 5XXs, they're a little bit more inclined to break, I would say, just because the metal point at which they adjust by goes through this plastic piece. So if they're mishandled, that could possibly break. I don't think that it's going to be a problem for the 5XXs, so long as you treat them, with a proper amount of respect. But because the pieces go into this band portion on the top here, I don't believe that that would be problematic. Not that I would, recommend dropping these or anything like that, but it feels like they would be less likely to break. Another thing that I noticed pretty much right away is the ear cups do twist and swivel. There's a little bit of a swivel inside the upper portion here. And that basically adds to comfort pretty dramatically versus the 5XX, which does not swivel really at all, maybe a little bit, but I think that's more of slop that's baked into these little plastic pieces rather than actual twisting for comfort, which just from the shape of the aperture that these go into, you can kind of see that they're designed to go left and right here in the groove. So that's really nice as far as being able to do that and get a little bit more comfort out of the deal, particularly with laying down. These ear cups are nice and thick on the HE560. Again, the portion that touches your head is velour, and the outside portion here is some sort of a PU leather. The pads themselves, you can very easily see, looking close up anyway, are asymmetrical. So the right ear cup is thicker toward the rear than it is the front. And again, I believe that that's due to overall comfort when you go ahead and slide these on. So the thicker portion is here versus here. So they give you a little bit more padding up front than in the back, which I think is appropriate. On your ears, they look very good. You can see a little bit of the driver through them. If you give a look here, if you catch the light just right anyway, you can see the planar magnetic strips in there. It's not quite as open in terms of the grill as on the 5XXs. I have zero problems at any angle. So I think that these are in fact more open. There may even be a grill modification to make these a little bit more open to improve soundstage or the upper end, but it's time for my first thoughts, not the modifications. Let me go ahead and plug these into the DAC that I have currently, and that's this little tiny Mizu dongle DAC. So that's this here. This is a USB-C to 1/8" jack. This little Mizu dongle DAC here. This is USB-C on one end and 1/8" jack on another. And allows me to plug this into my telephone or my computer via a standard USB-C to USB-A adapter. So that's what I'll be using to drive these here today until my real headphone amplifier comes in. Let's go ahead and detach this 1/4" adapter that it comes with. Go ahead and plug that in and plug this into my computer. And so I'm just going to go ahead and give these a first listen, and I'll let you know what I think. I'm going to go ahead and pull up some of the same songs that I had listened to in my previous first unboxing video of the 5XXs to try to get a little bit of a comparative analysis going on. So please bear with me, and let's go ahead and see how these sound. Okay. So, after reviewing a bunch of music in one go, some of the stuff that I had listened to for my quick unboxing of the 5XXs, I have discovered that, well, first off, this DAC is not capable of supplying enough power. I have everything turned up to 100% in terms of volume. The DAC in Windows and in Fubar 2000, the music player I'm using, and also YouTube when I was using YouTube for listening. And the volume is just starting to be like okay for good music listening. I These headphones will definitely benefit from a DAC amp that's capable of driving them a little bit better. The 5XXs were kind of right on the line as far as whether I could drive them with this smaller DAC or not. This one, definitely not. It's basically just not there. So audio-wise, you'll note that I had messed around with the EQ and Fubar for a little bit to try to get a feel for what is going on. So this is kind of what I ended up with in terms of pleasurable listening. I basically added a few decibels to the very bottom. I just find that this is pleasing. I have found on the 5XXs that if I did the same thing, I just get a little bit more bass extension. These have plenty of bass. These are not a bass headphone. But it definitely has good representation of the bass on the bottom end. Kick drums are nice and lively. Bass notes are nice and thick and meaty. So the lower range is good. It's not overblown. It's not a Beats by Dre headphone. They have tunings that are incredibly V-shaped and really hard, heavy bass. That's not what this is. It's just really solid bass extension, bass representation in the lower ends. Around the middle, though, especially the upper middle, moving into some of the treble, it sounds like it's kind of muffled. I feel like the band has gone into the recording booth, and I'm at the mixing station, and I've taken off my mixing headphones, and I'm just listening to what the band is playing through the door in the wall. Um, it's very disconcerting. It's not a quality that I enjoy at all. I did find that this can be fixed a little bit by just increasing this mid range a little bit. I didn't get rid of it completely. I'm gonna have to mess around and see what specific frequencies are causing this sort of muffled slash fishbowl situation. Um, I also found that as far as guitar notes specifically, listening to Days of the News now, which is a really cool piece with multiple guitars, I found that the notes themselves were totally pulled back, vague, and still in that kind of muffled region. But the ring of the strings, the upper part of the treble, the pick on the string, and the actual ringing out of the string, not necessarily the note, but the ring, is definitely there and represented well. It's not a harsh ring by any means, but I do hear that detail in the upper end. It's just not getting through in the lower part of the upper end. Um, I'm really not certain what's going on with that. This is kind of what I heard in the 5XXs a little bit. I did get used to that a little bit in the couple of days that I've had them, but it's much. I'm going to say worse in my humble opinion anyway, than the 5XX in that way. Um, I do note that there's some wider imaging with the HE560s than the HE5XXs. The HE5XXs have really good imaging, don't get me wrong, but it just feels a little bit thrown a little wider with the 560s. Just looking over for the name of the headphone. It's late when I'm recording this. Keeps falling out of my head. Um, so yeah, this is definitely something that is going to be better with amplification. I'm hoping that a little bit more power available to it might smooth out some of these frequency issues that I'm talking about here. Um, it might just be that I don't have the right equipment to drive this, and that's acceptable. Uh, this shouldn't be thought of as a bad review by any means. These are just my first impressions on what I have available, which is just that little Mizu dongle DAC. And these are pretty hard to drive, these headphones. The volume is significantly lower than that of the 5XXs. I think I'm just running into the limit of the amplifier in this particular DAC. Just glancing at my notes down below. Let's see. Yeah, my biggest notes here are definitely that it needs more power, but also that the lower end, pretty much everything in this region here, is just fine. I didn't even need to bump this lower end up. I personally just enjoy that a little bit myself, as far as like a slightly bass boost. But overall, this could remain flat, and this whole lower end section sounds pretty good. I can very easily, discreetly hear the lower parts, the kick, the snare, the toms, all pretty well represented. Although the upper part of that, some of the snare and some of the higher toms do come through with that kind of fishbowl sound that I was describing previously, which is probably somewhere in this particular region that I hadn't messed with. This is just what I had come up with at first blush. And we'll probably be refining this as I move forward, as I get better DAC amps. And I will definitely be revisiting these once I receive that, which should be hopefully in a few days. My best guess is probably toward the end of next week. I should be seeing that. And while it won't be an unboxing, I will definitely give my first impressions of that as well. I'm going to try and do sort of a roundup slash shootout in the end with some of my more educated opinions in terms of sitting down and listening for many hours consecutively. Like I said, I've had the 5XXs for a little less than a week. These I just pulled out of the box, so I know very little about them in terms of how they sound overall sonically, and what I can do EQ-wise in order to push them in the direction that I want. Or, like I said, I'm very hopeful that a better DAC slash headphone amp will go ahead and put these frequency response curves more in line with my personal expectations. So as far as what I have here, I didn't get the sound that I was looking for specifically. The sound quality. I mean, all of the detail seems to be there. I don't know what's going on with this whole fishbowl thing, where the sounding like I'm standing outside the studio, listening to people jamming behind a wall. I really don't know why that is, but my impressions from what I understand so far, which I'm a total noob, so this may not be, but I believe that this could benefit from the upgraded headphone amp, if not the DAC itself. So I will definitely add additional comments here when I have the DAC and have better opinion. Please get subscribed and stay tuned for more of this headphone investigation journey. I do have more headphones coming as well. I will be reselling those that I don't like and keeping those that I do. So right now I have the MDR V6, which is what I started with. These are great mastering headphones, as I said previously, recording, tracking, that kind of stuff. They pull out every little bit of detail, particularly in the highs. If somebody breathes the wrong way into the microphone when you're mastering, you hear it here. If you can make them sound good on the V6s, you can make them sound good pretty much anywhere. I've got the HiFiMan Drop 5XXs, which is what I've been comparing them against the most in this particular unboxing and first thoughts, just because they're from the same manufacturer. They have similar designs. They're both planar magnetic drivers, but they're very different sounding and feeling. These velour ear cups, they do make my ears kind of hot, where I didn't experience that with the 5XXs. They're very comfortable, so there's that, but it may lead to some sweating later on down the road. I've only been listening to about maybe a half an hour's worth of music. I did feel that they were a little bit hotter. They also have a little bit more clamping force. It's not strong by any means. I think it's just due to the size of the pads. The pads on the HE560s are quite a bit thicker than the pads found on the 5XXs, and they're also different material. They're not memory foam. The pads of the 5XXs are just plain foam. Whereas the pads on the HE560s are a little bit squishier. Not memory foam, still regular padding material, but it feels a little bit more spongy. Build quality wise, I honestly don't have a problem with either one of these, but the 560s definitely gets an upgrade in build quality over the 5XXs. I suspect, although I haven't really looked at them, that the 4XXs have a pretty similar build quality to the 5XXs. So I'll be definitely getting those in. Coming in within the next couple of weeks, I will be receiving the HE4XXs, the lower end version of these. They're a little bit less expensive, but a lot of people really like them sonically. I'm looking forward to giving those a shot. We'll do an unboxing here and basically check those out in a very similar way. The Sennheiser HD 6XXs, which are basically the drop version of the Sennheiser HD650s in blue instead of the granite. Those are coming in. I really look forward to those. A lot of folks that I've talked with on various forums basically tell me that the Shit Modi and Shit Magni, which is the Shit headphone stack, plus the HD6XXs are basically a lot of people's overall end game. So a lot of people really enjoy that combination. I myself, like I said, will be getting the Objective 2 with ODAC soon. That should be here hopefully the end of next week as well. And I'll give that another shot with the HE560s. But a lot of people really like that with the HD650 slash the Sennheiser Drop HD6XXs, which, like I said, are coming in. I do look forward to trying those. Those are significantly less expensive, retail anyway, than the HE560s that we opened up today. This is what $900 sounds like, and I did not receive $500 sounding audio. Sorry, $900. Yeah, it's crazy. So these don't sound like $900 cans. They're not built like I'd expect $900 cans should be built. Yeah, so they're not built like $900 cans should be built. They look very nice, so they look good. The shiny parts are fingerprint magnets, so that is something to look out for. I can definitely feel now that that I've been touching them, using them. These shiny pieces are in fact plastic and not metal. The yolks themselves are metal. These upper here portions are definitely plastic. I think there may be a metal portion inside there that it attaches to, I hope, for longevity. And there's definitely metal in the band, or at least I believe there is anyhow. I have no way to know that without ripping this apart, and I'm not going to. So I'm pretty disappointed right now for even what I paid for these, which is $265, which is sort of more or less on par with the 5XXs. I mean, I've been enjoying more or less the 5XXs for the past few days. I don't think that I've like necessarily gotten used to them. There are some songs that they're pretty amazing as far as soundstage in terms of the overall sonic qualities that are extremely good. Sometimes I end up with the whole fishbowl muffled thing a little bit with the 5XXs. I knew that that shouldn't be there overall, so I'm kind of leery about the HiFiMan planar magnetics. But yeah, the HE560s, I'm not a big fan right now. I really want to try them with some additional amplification. I think they might open right up. but I have no way to know right this second, as I don't have one of those DAC amps in front of me. I will definitely be posting an addendum here. Look for additional pinned comments down below. I'm hoping that there's some eureka thing when I plug these into a decent DAC amp that will just work for me. Yeah, so that's my unboxing and first impressions today. I wish that I had better news, better marks to give. As of right now, if this does not improve with the addition of a DAC amp, these will definitely be on the for sale section of my my lab here very, very soon. So that's the verdict for right now. Thank you for sticking with me this long. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you'd like to see more unboxings like this of headphones, like I said, I've got the 4XX and HE650/6XXs coming soon, as well as that nice new DAC amp. And I'm still not quite certain whether or not I'll pick up a shit stack or not. We'll see if the Objective 2 headphone amp plus ODAC does the job. If it does, awesome. If not, I might still pick up that shit stack. We'll see. Please, if anybody has any questions, comments, please put them down below. If anyone has any idea what I could possibly be doing wrong with these headphones, if anybody has any experience with the HE560 version 4, please put that down below. Let me know your thoughts. I'd also be interested in any thoughts that you might have as far as what DAC and amp that I should be trying to drive these with. And of course, all of the products that I talked about today will be down below. So you can purchase them with my affiliate links if you'd like, or just take a look at the store pages and see what I'm talking about here. If you'd like, you can find my contact information over at Cpgeek.org. I'll have a link to that in the description as well. And once again, if you'd like to contribute directly to this channel, please go ahead and click the tip link down below. It's just basically a PayPal donation link, and if you do, then this little bar at the bottom of the screen will move, and it'll make me a little happier that I spent a little less on camera equipment and audio recording equipment to make these videos possible. So thank you for tuning in, and have a great one. Bye.